Hello and welcome to Acco Drive. Mercedes-Benz India plans to launch no less than a dozen new offerings in the market. And to tell us more about them and the overall strategy in terms of the mid to long-term growth strategy for Mercedes-Benz in India and also the growth trend of the Indian luxury car market, we have with us Santosh Iyer, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mercedes-Benz India. Santosh, thanks for spending your time.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
12 launches, which is on an average one a month. Could you define it further, the strategy? How many of them will be all new? What kind of segments in terms of, let's say, your body style and also your luxury car market subsegments of core, entry, and the top?
Yeah, so I think it's a special year for us because we are also celebrating 140 years ever since the first motor car was invented by us and all the innovations that happened over the so many years and decades.
Congratulations on the milestone as well.
No, thank you. And therefore, yes, we are trying to challenge. Globally there is a fireworks of more than 40 cars in over 2 years. 12 of them, we said, not exactly from the same 40 stable, but we will have 12 product launches in India. First one was the GLS Maybach that we localized today. We will have much more coming in. The second one hopefully should be a CLA EV, I can say that, which should also come soon. And then we have plans. We have plans in EVs, we have plans in ICE and the entire portfolio. So we will continue to excite the market throughout the year.
Mercedes-Benz is also having a very strong bet on BEVs, right?
Yeah.
And how many of these 12 would be BEVs?
No, I don't want to give an exact number right now because a couple of them are planned for us for sure. But it's also based on how the global launches happen because these are, some of the cars are launching, some are getting delayed, some of them have a huge demand. Even in Europe, the CLA, for example, was voted as the best European car last year. So there is a strong consumer demand there and therefore that drives some of these timing, but fully committed to get as many new cars as possible.
In terms of your EV penetration in your portfolio, in your overall sales, where does it stand at the end of 2025?
So it's great. If I look at the total EV, we will be at 8% odd in terms of the penetration. But if you look at the EVs we operate is more in the top end segment, the EQS SUV, the Maybach, the G Electric. If I look at there, we are very strong in the top end segment. 25% of our sales are in the top end. And if you now add 20% of the penetration, there is EV. So 20% of my top end sales are all electric vehicles. That's quite a big number.
Is it by design that you are having a relatively stronger presence on the top end of the luxury EV market as compared to the lower end? Because one of your industry peers is really focusing on kind of.
No, I think each one for their own strategy, where I think there is a lot of focus on premium customers shifting for the brand there. We have not an EV, but we have combustion engine cars like the GLA. We had the A-Class, now it will be replaced with the CLA coming in. So CLA will be there. But even with the CLA, the product is an entry, but not at an entry price point. They both are different. And here we would, when I talk about combustion engines, if you see, we have not decontented the GLA. It's a proper 4-cylinder car with a 4MATIC suspension being a standard. In that sense, we would not like to then go below just on price by offering lesser content. And maybe, also we see that in the entry and in the entry core, in that price band, we can see intense price war. And there we again don't want to participate between those players. So it's better we stay out and we focus on our strength, which is the case. The first time buyers sometimes are very price sensitive and they just want to get the brand and sometimes they take those decisions. So we would like to participate in entry for sure, but not at any cost.
If I'm not wrong, it's been about 10 or 11 consecutive years that Mercedes-Benz has topped the Indian luxury car market, yes. Starting in 2015, if I'm not wrong,
yes,
right?
Yes. Prior to that also we were topping till 2010.
Yes, and there was a break in between. Some of your industry peers took the slot, but last 10, 11 years.
11 years, yeah.
How do you plan to protect the turf here? Because if you look at the numbers, the gap between the Mercedes-Benz and the number 2 player, BMW specific, is reducing if you look at.
But who cares for this? to be honest, Mantra. Who cares? Because we are just seeing the same story repeating after 12 years. You have high discounts. You can you can compete with premium players also, because there is nobody caring in that sense. We are wanting to be a more desirable brand, which we are, will remain, with the kind of products, substance that we are offering, with the kind of brand promise, with the customer experience. One of the proof point is also our business model. We are the only brand to be direct to consumer. Retail of the future we did during the worst of the times. If we was caring about will we lose number one because we can't discount like this, we will be transparent. If you go to my website, my discounts, my car, or everything is available. So I think we have kept the customer in the center of what we do. And finally, I am more bothered about my residual value, of my customers, my car, my product, and their trust in us. So if we go and chase this, I can say in the aviation space, we used to have big brands. None of them exist today, all going for the number one position. So I think we need to be pragmatic. It's not wrong. It's a great thing to sell more, but not sell more at any cost. That would be our view.
And talking about retail of the future model, I think some of your retail partners were also apprehensive earlier. I think they have now...
No, they are very happy. If you see last year, we are talking about 100, 200 cars, maybe lower, or a couple of 100 cars lower than earlier year, but my revenue has grown. If my revenue is growing, my dealers are also earning more margin, more money. So it's not linked to absolute number of unit sales that we need to always see. But yes, it's important. I will not shy away to say that unit sales are not important because your fixed costs are amortized over there the same, and it is important to grow as well, but not at any cost. That's a clear topic.
Talking about growth, if you look at the overall segment, it would qualify more as flat than any...
Exactly. It's a 1 to 2% that's the point. When there is not total growth happening in the market with 1 to 2% growth, one or the other player growing significantly at the cost of some other player, we are not as impacted. As I said, it's a couple of 100 odd units, but there are other players who are impacted. In that fight, we would like to stay away. And that's for us, the growth of the luxury car segment is more important. Can the overall segment grow? There are some disablers, like the price increases have happened, that actually keep some customers away. You can see sentiment-driven industry because of all the geopolitical topics. We have varying sentiments throughout the year. After GST 2.0, I had a flood of people coming to the showrooms and buying. Again, there was a bit of lull. Again, right now we see Jan, Feb doing not so bad. So I think we have to play by this. We have to be prepared for volatility as leaders, and then we be pragmatic on this.
Why do you think why do you think the Indian luxury car market is not growing? I mean, we are number 3 when it comes to the number of billionaires globally, India, after US and China. Number 14 or 15 if you talk.
Yeah, but if you took the pyramid then drops down significantly. It's not like you have a pyramid. If you look at the number of absolute taxpayers in a country like India, that itself is quite small, right? 3 odd crores, if I'm not wrong, whichever is coming up, and then you compare 4.3 million cars being sold as such. So I think India is unique. India has its own set of way things are operating. The taxation structure is also different. We have to be patient. We have been patient. We have sold more than 2 lakh cars in the last 5-6 years. So that 1 lakh cars, 1.5 lakh cars. So I think there is growth. There is, of course, right now, last year, you can see a bit of stagnation or not. The growth is not so aggressive. But I think it's a matter of time. The sentiment's coming back. You will see the growth coming back.
This year, what's the outlook? Is it you do expect 2025 redux, or?
Yeah, if you see, we discussed in Jan 25, I said it will be a single digit and a more flattish year. Same prognosis for 26. But we are optimistic. GDP is strong. All the parameters are okay. But headwinds of Forex, geopolitical uncertainty. So you have 2 positives, 2 negatives. So in that sense, if the negatives don't come and the positives are strong, then you will go even further. So at this stage, it's better to keep it muted to say that it will be a single digit kind of a growth.
And the Forex impact that you talked about?
That's also because we will increase prices. We increased on 1st of Jan by 2%. We'll continue to increase price every quarter.
Last year, you increased by about 5%. Right.
But thanks to GST, prices came down by 6%. So technically, the customer got a 1% benefit, but not like mass market where they got 7-8% benefit.
But right now, after your price increase, it's back to pre-GST.
Yes.
Okay. So now, in terms of growth, the kind of outlook that you have, and considering what's happening in the larger world, especially in the Western world, the cooling off of certain markets, Mercedes-Benz India as a subsidiary, the rank, do you expect any change in the rank? By the way, where do you stand now in terms of?
No, if I look at total numbers, we will be in the top 20 for many years now. And if I look at Maybach, we are in the top 5 Maybach markets in the world. So that's again to a positive set if I look at between the same. So I think, but this is internal and neither customer cares, neither anybody else should care, because for me, what's important is how does the customer view the brand and what are we able to offer to the customer in India.
Lastly, your top 3 priorities for Mercedes-Benz India, say the next 5 years, starting this year, by the end of.
No, I think we are very focused on customer experience, not in whatever we do. We have also integrated financial services for a very clear enhancing our customer experience. We are called as now not sales and marketing, sales and customer experience. So that's called as a department or as a function itself. So I think that's core to what we try and do, and we need to push that narrative. There is a lot of work to be done on the customer services side to ease ownership and to make it even better. And last not the least, also look at setting a platform for growth, because yes, we have to grow in India. We need to see, so as long as you do the fundamentals right, you can grow in this market. What we don't want is grow a couple of years again, grow, because that's not sustainable. So we need a plan, and my job, of course, is to set that foundation for growth.
Talking about foundation, one absolute last question. We are sitting here at your plant, and you are adding more
Yes.
models in terms of assembly. In terms of capacity, how are you placed? And are you adding more CKD units?
We will continue to add more lines. We continue to invest. We have invested 3,000 odd crores in the past. We continue to invest now with new car lines and introduction, and we have enough capacity in the plant.
Okay, on that note, Santosh, always
Thank you very much. Look forward.
best wishes for the year.